Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? Today, imagine this. Okay, you open your mailbox, and instead of just like bills and junk mail, you find a handwritten letter.
Ooh, a handwritten letter. I mean, those are pretty rare these days,
I
right?
know, it's like a lost art in our digital world.
Yeah, totally.
But that's exactly what we're going to explore today, the surprising comeback of handwritten letters. And get this, we're specifically looking at how they're making waves in the business world.
Okay, now that's interesting. Handwritten letters and businesses. Tell me more.
All right, so our main source for this deep dive is this really cool article from the Hustle Sunday. It's about a company called Letter Safar. Have you heard of them?
Letter Safar.
Hmm.
That name rings a bell, but I can't quite place it.
Well, get ready to be amazed. Their whole business model revolves around sending out these personalized handwritten letters to subscribers every single month.
Handwritten every month. Wow, that's a lot of letters.
I know, right? And here's the kicker. They've got millions of subscribers. Millions.
Millions of people paying for handwritten letters. Okay, yeah. I'm officially intrigued.
And each subscriber is paying $7 a month for this. So what is it about these letters? What makes them so special that people are willing to pay for them?
Yeah, what is it about these letters?
Well, the article digs into that, and it boils down to this. It's not just about the physical letter itself. It's about the feeling, the emotion behind it.
The emotion.
Yeah, like that personal touch, the intimacy. It's this refreshing change from all the digital stuff we're always bombarded with.
I can see that. It's like getting a little piece of someone's time, their attention. Something that's really rare these days, for sure.
Yeah, and the article points out three things, like three main reasons why Letter Safar is so successful.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, they're bridging the gap between generations. These letters appeal to both kids and parents.
Ah, smart move. Get the whole family on board.
Exactly. And second, they sneak in a little education. They weave some learning into the letters.
Parents love that, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. And third, well, you guessed it, they tap right into that good old nostalgia.
Nostalgia, like that warm and fuzzy feeling.
Exactly. So they've basically got this triple threat going on. It's a product that brings families closer, gets kids learning, and gives everyone a break from all the screens.
It's brilliant. It's like they've found the magic formula.
And here's where things get even more interesting. The article takes this whole handwritten letter thing and brainstorms some potential business ideas.
Oh, okay, like using handwritten letters as a core part of a business.
Exactly. Imagine Letter Safar, but with a twist.
I'm all ears. What kind of ideas are we talking about?
Okay, so the first one they came up with is a chess education business. But here's the catch. It's designed for families, the whole family learning chess together.
Family chess. I like that.
Yeah, so picture this. You sign up, and every month you get a handwritten letter filled with chess tips, strategies, maybe even some puzzles and some fun facts about the history of chess.
So it's not just about learning the game, it's about connecting as a family. I like it. What's next?
Okay, the second idea is a travel blog, but with a handwritten twist. Imagine a subscription where families receive handwritten travel guides, personalized just for them.
Handwritten travel guides.
I know, right? So before you go on a family vacation, you get this beautifully handwritten guide with insider tips on like what to see, the best places to eat, and all sorts of fun facts about your destination.
It's pretty cool. It's like having a personal travel buddy guiding you every step of the way.
Exactly. What do you think about this next one? It involves bringing back those old school kids' magazines and newspapers.
Wow. Bringing back print. Now that's a bold move.
Yeah.
In a world where everything's digital, I'm curious, what makes this idea stand out?
Well, each issue of the magazine comes with a personalized handwritten letter. It could be from the editor, maybe a challenge for the month, or even a reply to something a reader sent in.
Ah, I see. So it's about making it interactive,
Yeah.
creating a conversation.
Exactly. And for our final business idea, how about hands-on learning farms for families?
Hands-on learning farms. I'm all about getting kids outdoors and connected to nature.
Well, this one's right up your alley then. Picture this. Families sign up, and every month they get a handwritten letter with farming tips, fun gardening projects they can do at home, and even recipes, using the produce they grow.
What a fantastic idea. It gets families engaged with where their food comes from. It teaches them practical skills. I love it.
Right. And the best part is the article doesn't just present these ideas and leave it at that. It challenges us to think about them.
Challenges us. How so?
It asks, what do you think? Could this work in your community? What tweaks would make it even better? It's all about getting those creative juices flowing.
I like that. It's making us think outside the box. and apply these concepts to our own lives.
Yeah. And one of the biggest takeaways from the article is that you don't need some super complicated idea to have a successful business.
Wait, hold on a second. Before we move on to the takeaways, I think there's something really interesting connecting all these business ideas. Did you notice it?
Oh, absolutely. What are you thinking?
Well, they all seem to be tapping into this desire for real experiences, for connection, something tangible in a world that's becoming so virtual.
You're so right. They're all addressing that need to get away from the screens and actually do something, create something, connect with each other.
And it's like those handwritten letters become this bridge between the digital and the tangible.
Mhm.
They add a warmth and personality to the whole experience.
You said it. It's that personal touch that makes such a big difference. It's like they're saying, hey, we put in the effort. We created this just for you.
And in today's world where everything's so fast-paced, a gesture like that really stands out.
Okay, so back to that broader takeaway from the article.
Right, the takeaway.
It's this. Sometimes the simplest things, like a handwritten letter, can make the biggest impact.
It's a good reminder that we often try to overcomplicate things, when the best solutions are usually the simplest ones.
And this applies to so much more than just business, right?
You're right. Like, we could all find ways to add a bit more intention and a personal touch to how we interact with each other.
Absolutely. Okay, before we move on, I have a question for you. What part of all of this really stands out to you? Is there like a forgotten art or something, a simple pleasure that you think could be brought back to life, maybe even turned into something incredible?
That's a great question. It's definitely got my wheels turning.
I mean, the possibilities are endless, right?
They really are. And that's what's so exciting about this whole conversation. It's about rediscovering the power of simple things, of human connection in a world that can feel really complex and kind of detached sometimes.
You put it perfectly. All right, so now we're going to shift gears a little bit and explore the why behind this whole thing. Like, why are handwritten letters making a comeback? What is it about them that makes them so powerful? We'll be right back to delve into that.
It's funny, isn't it? We talk about handwritten letters making a comeback, but for such a long time, they were like the way people communicate.
I know, right? It really makes you think, what happened? What made us move so far away from something so basic?
Well, technology obviously played a huge role. Emails and texts are just so fast and easy.
Yeah, true. But I feel like there's got to be more to it than that.
I think there is. It has to do with how our brains work,
Yeah.
how we process information, the different feelings we get from different ways of communicating.
Okay, now you've got me really curious. Break it down for me.
All right, so think about it. When you get a text or an email, you just kind of scan it quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's all about getting the information fast.
Yeah, you're not really savoring it.
Exactly. But a handwritten letter, it's different. It makes you slow down. You pay attention to each word.
You have to. There's no skipping ahead.
Right. And when you slow down like that, something really interesting happens. More your senses get involved. You feel the paper. You see the ink. You might even smell the paper and ink.
It becomes a whole experience.
Yes. And then there's the effort behind it. Someone actually sat down and wrote those words just for you.
That's special.
It is. It shows they care, that you're worth their time.
So it's deeper than just nostalgia then.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's some real psychology going on here.
And that explains why companies like Letter Safari are doing so well.
Exactly. Think of that. People crave connection, something real and meaningful in this digital world.
It's pretty genius when you think about it. They took something that a lot of people see as old-fashioned and turned it into a successful business.
And it speaks to this desire for authenticity, In a world of perfectly filtered photos and online personas, a handwritten letter just cuts through all that.
It feels real, genuine.
Exactly. Like a breath of fresh air.
This is making me think about mindfulness, being present in the moment.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Well, handwritten letters kind of force you to be mindful. You have to be present when you're writing or reading one. You're engaging your senses, focusing on the words, the person behind them.
It's like a mini meditation.
Yeah, a way to escape all the mental noise.
I like that.
So here's a thought. What if we could take this handwritten communication beyond just letters?
Ooh, okay, I'm listening.
Remember those business ideas we talked about, like the chess one, the travel blog, the kids magazine?
Yeah, they all used handwritten letters as a key part of the business.
What if we took it a step further? What if instead of just sending letters, they found ways to put handwritten elements into the products or services themselves?
Hold on, I think I see what you're saying. So like with the chess business, instead of just sending a letter with tips, maybe they include a handwritten puzzle.
Yes. Or a personalized game strategy for each subscriber.
And for the travel blog, maybe a handwritten map with recommendations and little notes about hidden gems.
Exactly. And the kids' magazine could have a section where kids send in their own handwritten stories or artwork.
I love that. It takes the handwritten element and makes it part of the whole experience.
And it encourages people to do their own handwriting, not just read it.
It's like bringing back a culture of handwriting, putting pen to paper, expressing yourself in a more thoughtful way.
This whole conversation has really changed how I see things. I thought we were just talking about a nostalgic trend, but it's so much more than that.
It really is. It's about where we are as a society, what we're missing, this desire to reconnect with something real.
And who knew that something as simple as pen and paper could be the key to all that?
Right. The simplest solutions are often the most powerful ones. It is powerful. But let's be real for a second. There are practical things to consider, too.
Oh, yeah, of course. We can talk about the beauty of handwritten communication, but bringing it into the real world, especially business, there are challenges.
Exactly. Like, how do you do it on a large scale? If you have thousands of customers, how do you personalize handwritten stuff for all of them?
That's a good point. You'd need a whole system, a team of people who can write well, maybe even technology to help with parts of the process.
And then there's the cost. Handwritten stuff takes time and effort. It's not free.
True, and that cost would have to be reflected in the price of whatever you're selling.
Which raises the question, are people willing to pay more for that personal handwritten touch?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And I think the answer depends on who you're selling to, how much they value what you're offering, and the overall economy.
Complicated.
It is. But I think there are more and more people out there who are looking for experiences that are genuine, that offer real connection, and they're willing to pay for that.
Yeah, it's about finding that niche market, the people who appreciate the art, the effort, the feeling that goes into something handwritten.
Exactly. And then figuring out how to overcome those logistical challenges.
Maybe a hybrid approach could work, combining handwritten elements with digital technology.
Interesting. Like using technology to personalize parts of the handwritten piece,
Yeah,
but still keeping that human touch.
exactly. It's about finding that balance between being efficient and being authentic.
This whole conversation is reminding me of something.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that line from the article, one that said, your next big business could be just a pen stroke away?
Oh, yeah, I love that line.
Well, I think it's bigger than just business. I think it applies to life, too.
What do you mean?
I mean, sometimes the smallest things, the simplest actions, can have the biggest impact.
Like writing a handwritten letter.
Yes. Or leaving a thoughtful note for someone, sending a thank you card. Just those little gestures of connection and appreciation.
It's about making an effort, putting in that extra bit of thoughtfulness.
And those little things can spread. They can create more kindness and connection.
I love that. It's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference.
We do. And sometimes all it takes is a pen and paper and a little bit of heart.
That's beautifully said. This has been such a great deep dive.
It really has. We've explored so much, the psychology of handwriting, business ideas, even the philosophy behind it.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right? There's so much more to discover about handwritten communication.
So before we go, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Okay, hit me with it.
In a world that's so focused on digital everything and instant gratification, what role do you think handwritten communication will play in the future? Will it fade away, or will it find new ways to exist and thrive?
That is the question, isn't it? And I think the answer depends on us, on whether we choose to embrace those simple human connections.
So as we sign off today, we encourage you to think about that question, explore the possibilities, and maybe even pick up a pen and paper yourself.
You never know what magic you might create.
As we wrap up this deep dive, something keeps coming back to me. It's this idea of intentionality.
Intentionality. Interesting. How so?
Well, I think about how in our digital world, so much of what we do is just reactive.
Yeah, like constantly checking emails, texts, all those notifications.
And it's just this never-ending stream of information.
And we're expected to respond to it all right now,
Right. It's like we're on autopilot.
just reacting to whatever pops up.
But handwritten letters, they're different.
They are. You really have to make a choice to sit down and write one.
It's a much more deliberate process.
You have to think about what you want to say, gather your thoughts.
And then actually put pen to paper.
There's effort involved.
And that effort, it makes the letter more meaningful.
It does, both for the writer and the reader.
When you get a handwritten letter, you know someone took the time to create that just for you.
It's a real gift.
It is a gift of their time and attention.
And it makes you feel special.
Like you're valued.
Yeah, exactly. Like your connection with that person is important.
And I think that feeling valued, it's something we all crave.
Especially these days,
We want to know that we matter.
that our thoughts and feelings are worth sharing.
And handwritten letters, they give us a way to do that.
A way to connect that feels real and genuine.
It's like they're saying, hey, I see you, I hear you.
And I care enough to put in the effort.
And that message, it resonates with everyone, I think.
It does, regardless of age.
It makes me think about mental health, too.
Oh, how so?
Well, there's all this research about how it's good for us to slow down.
To disconnect from the digital world.
Yeah, and engage in activities that make us more mindful and present.
And writing a letter, it fits right into that.
It really does. It can be very therapeutic.
You have to focus. You're expressing yourself creatively.
It's a form of self-care.
And for the person receiving the letter, it can be a real source of joy.
A reminder that they're not alone, that someone cares about them.
It's a simple act with a lot of power.
So as we wrap up, it's clear that handwritten letters, they're more than just a nostalgic trend.
They are. They're a tool for connection, creativity, well-being,
They remind us to slow down, to be more thoughtful in how we communicate.
to appreciate those simple human connections.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
It's amazing, isn't it? The impact that something as simple as a pen and paper can have.
It really is. And who knows, maybe this conversation will inspire some of our listeners to pick up a pen and write a letter.
I hope so. Maybe they'll rediscover the magic of handwritten communication.
That would be fantastic. This has been such a great deep dive. I've really enjoyed exploring all of this with you.
Me too. It's been enlightening.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope you found it as thought-provoking as we have.
Absolutely. Keep those conversations going, keep exploring, and maybe even pick up a pen and paper yourself.
Until next time, happy writing, everyone.